So this is a mess of redstone that makes a 3-height expandable flush piston door. Those are definitely words. So what does it mean? Well, it means if we look at this wall here, these blocks are the same level as the wall. It's all flat, but when we pull this lever, it all goes away, and then we have this 3-high hole that is 4 blocks wide, except it can be up to 16 blocks wide. It's a 3-high door that does that can be made wider if you want it to be wider. So if you don't want to know how it works and you just want to see me building it, just skip to this timestamp on screen now. But if you do, I'll just explain how it works and that will help you build it. So if you get a bit confused, then maybe go back to this bit. Otherwise, I'll see you in the tutorial. So we can use this one to see it working, so we'll flick the lever. We don't actually need this node block, this was from an old version. And there you go. Goes away and comes back down. So what we do is we push these 2x2 squares of honey or slime blocks down, and they have a piston on the back, and then these observers pop up out of the floor by this observer powering this redstone and repeater to power these pistons temporarily, which shoves these blocks to here, and then on the way back they come up again to pull them back, and then they get pulled up. So they get pulled up and down by 2 pistons at the top. But if you look, these pistons here are actually powered diagonally by this block. So in Java Edition, if you power a block diagonally above a piston, then it's not powered. But if I make it realise it's powered by putting a block next to it or moving it, then it's suddenly like, oh, I'm powered, I will pull a block down. But then if I turn off this redstone, it stays down. So you need to move something near it to make it realise, and it comes back up. Weird. So the way we do that in this version is actually when these pistons pull back the honey blocks, underneath that piston, we've actually turned the block diagonally above it off already. So that actually is what's used to make them realise they're not powered anymore and they go up. And then we just add a delay with this repeater on top of a piston to make sure the other redstone stays powered that powers the top pistons, the ones here. So they will stay on a bit longer and then pull the rest of it back up. So, like that. And then we just use this glass, and you can also use slabs to make the redstone only power the pistons we want, because the redstone on the glass or the slab won't power the piston next to it, so we only want to power every other piston in our sets of 2 blocks, so that they're like that. And sell off at the right time. At the bottom we have these target blocks, and that's just to make this line of redstone. Go to the target block and power the pistons to do the bit at the front. So that's just how we do the bottom blocks there. And also we have to delay the top, so we just use a repeater on the bit that powers the top to keep it on a bit longer. And because this is a slab, the redstone will not go down to here and create an infinite loop. So if we look over here, if I power this redstone, we've got an infinite loop. Even when we turn it off, it stays on. But if we go to this one and we turn it on and then off, it just stays on a bit longer, but doesn't infinite loop, because the redstone from the slab doesn't go down, but it does go up. So how do you build it? Well, for resources, for a 2-wide version, so what I'm going to do is the amount of resources you need to do 2 blocks across, and then for every 2 blocks, you need to add another set. So you need 15 redstone dust, 7 redstone repeaters, 2 redstone torches, an observer, 5 sticky pistons, 8 slabs or glass or stairs, 4 honey or slime blocks, 9 obsidian for the walls, because slime and honey don't pull obsidian, can also use furnaces or crying obsidian, and a few other blocks, and then you need 2 target blocks. So that's just for 2 wide, and then for every 2 blocks you add on top of that, you need 8 redstone, 2 slabs, glass stairs, 1 observer, 5 sticky pistons, 4 slime or honey blocks, and they need to be the opposite of whichever one you did last time, so you alternate between honey and slime, and then 2 more target blocks. So basically, if I had a 6 wide one, I'd do these resources for the first 2, and then 2 sets of these resources, so 16 redstone, 4 slabs, etc. for the next 4 blocks. If I had a 10 wide version, So the first 2 blocks are these, and then I've got to do 4 sets of these for the next 8 blocks. Confusing, but now we'll see how to build it. Okay, so I'm going to build a 4 block wide version, and the amount of space you need is 4 blocks going backwards. So your wall is the block at the front here, and you're going to need 2 blocks to the right of your door. So however many blocks your door is, you add 2 on the right side. Then you're going to need 3 blocks below the floor and 7 blocks above the floor. So we've got 11 blocks in total, 3 blocks floor and then another 7 for the height. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to skip the first 2 blocks on the right, then we're going to go target blocks, 2 blocks below the floor, and then sticky pistons aiming up to push those blocks up. Then behind that, we're going to do a line of blocks with redstone on them, and then a repeater aiming into that redstone. Then our input is going to be a block behind that repeater, and then there's a block above it. And we just do a redstone here. And now we're going to do the pistons that push the observers at the back. So what you do is you just go 2 blocks behind these pistons and do 1 on the right side. Then we're going to skip a block and then do another piston, and just carry on that pattern of skipping a block, then doing a piston, a sticky piston, till you've got the width of the door you want. To power these, we get our observer and do it coming out of the repeater, going into a block, then we do a block 1 block lower underneath the piston and the other piston, and do that under every piston. Then you do 1 block higher in between them, and then you do redstone on those to power those pistons, and if you got more you'll carry on this pattern like this. And the redstone on top of the block is what powers the pistons. I only need this many because both my pistons are powered. Because the piston doesn't block the redstone, but the redstone will power both those pistons. Then we just put our observers on both of them, and your floor, if you were to fill it in, is right there. Okay, next we're going to go to the top, so we do a redstone torch on top of this input block, then we do a block, then a redstone torch, then a block. Then we put redstone on top, and now we're going to use our slabs, so we do 1 on the left, so we do 1 at the front, and 1 at the back, like that. Then coming out to the side of the back we do another slab, and then an obsidian. And then we just go into a block like this, and we do redstone there, there and there, and then a repeater aiming into this block on full delay. Then slabs like this, and we'll get rid of these with redstone on them. So this block is obsidian to stop slime pulling it, and this is a slab to stop it powering a piston that goes next to it. So that's why we've done that. So now on the back slab, we're going to do a block with a repeater on its second delay. Then we'll alternate block, slab, block, slab for as long as you have pistons, except you don't need the last one. So for 4 pistons I'd have 3 like this with redstone on them. Then at the front we're going to do another block with a repeater on its default, but then we go slab. But we do the other way around, we do slab, block, slab, block, and you do that for as many pistons as you have. So I'm doing it 4 wide, so I need 4 blocks like this. So I did realise the resources, you need 1 less redstone than I said, because I kind of counted it as having 1 here, but it doesn't matter, you've got extra redstone. Good for you. So now, between these blocks and slabs, starting in front of the repeaters, we're just going to do pistons as wide as we wanted our door to be. And then below them, we're going to alternate these 2x2 squares of slime and honey. Like that, so your door has to be a multiple of 2 wide. So it can't be 3 blocks, it has to be 4 or 6 or 8, up to 16. But really up to 14 unless you change some stuff. So yeah, I did realise changing it to be able to be 16 blocks wide doesn't really add any resources. You just move this repeater to here, and this redstone to here. And at the bottom, the first redstone the repeater goes into, just put a block in front of it with redstone, and then put a block above this redstone to block those off, because then this redstone will power this piston. And we can skip this target block. So there you go, now you can build it 16 blocks wide. Easy peasy. Right, so lastly we need our piston at the back, so above the observers and behind the slime and honey. Every time there's an observer, you do a sticky piston. So it should be every other block starting on the right, and then we just remove the blocks behind them. And lastly, we need to go on top of this second piston here, and we go from the back to the front. So this way round. And you do a repeater on full delay, aiming between this line of redstone on the slab and this one on the block. So now, if we power this block with the torch on it, it should work. Right, so it didn't work, and the reason is this redstone at the back, in front of the block, in front of the observer, that should be a repeater on 3 ticks, and then to go to any other bits, you do redstone. So yeah, repeater on 3 ticks, not redstone, at the back from the observer. So now what we need to do is turn it on, and you'll see the stuff pulled back, so we need to move these 1 block forward, and leave the pistons where they are. And now, if we turn it off, it should all go away, and then come back out. So your blocks would be on the door like this, and I kind of want to do them a different colour, so that we can see where the door is. There we go. And now you'll want to cover up the door, so you do blocks like this in the wall, and the floor in front of it. Then behind it, you can just fill in the floor like this. And then this redstone will be hidden by a wall here, except this slime or honey will go past these bits of the wall. So you actually have to do these 4 blocks as obsidian, and same on the other side. You have to do these 4 blocks as obsidian. You could also just leave it open, because none of the redstone goes there, but if you want it to be symmetrical, you need this obsidian. So that the slime doesn't pull it. And to power it, you just do a lever powering this redstone, and it also needs to power the block with the torch on it. So, like I could do this, and that would work. And then to close it from the other side, we just need another lever. So I'll put one behind the observer, and you can power it from the back, but this redstone has to be powered to power this repeater, which sets off the observer. So we do a repeater into the torch as our input from that side, and I guess we need that lever lower. And there you go, now I can shut it behind me. So that's how you make an expandable 3-high flush piston door, which is a lot of words, but this is what it means. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. If you've got any other builds you'd like me to do, leave them in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Adios.